Good morning students. How are you all? I hope you all are fine and you have completed the work that was sent to you. And Monday was our discussion day of the book work. So we have discussed the book work. Then I have also explained you the chapter. So today we have to start with the civics chapter 1. We have already covered our 2 chapters of history. I hope the chapters are clear. You have understand all the concepts, then you have completed your book work. Then today we are going to start with a new chapter of civics, that is lesson 1. I have already introduced you with this chapter, only the reading part was left out. So let us read the today chapter, Unity in Diversity, or the name of the chapter in your book is Diversity in India. So we'll start first with the meaning of diversity, as I have also discussed in my previous video. So let us read it first. We are similar in some ways and quite different from each other in some other ways. So we are similar in some ways and different in some other ways. For example, if we talk about similarity, we are all human beings. We breathe together. We need oxygen to breathe. Then we exhale carbon dioxide. So in this way we are similar. Then we need food to live, we need water. So these are what some of the similarities. Then we celebrate festivals, we all speak language, different languages. So these are some of the similarities. Then there are differences amongst us all. What type of differences are there? We speak different languages, we speak different language, and then we celebrate different festivals according to our customs and traditions. Then we wear different type of clothes. Then we have different physical features. Some people are tall, some are short, some are fat, some are thin. So all these are differences. So age, physical abilities, gender differences, beliefs, religions, languages make us distinct, means unique, and unique from one another. They distinguish ourselves from the other people. They differentiate between us and other people. So these are some of the basic differences in age, in gender. Some are males, other are females, some are boys, some are girls, then some are fat, some are thin. Then you have different way of understanding the things. Your beliefs are different. Someone can think differently, other person think differently. So we also celebrate different festivals. We have different religions. One can be Sikh, other can be Hindu and Muslim. So this way there are differences also. So this is what is diversity. Now let us underline the meaning of diversity. So there should be a pencil in your hand while reading the chapter. Diversity is the range of many people or things very different from each other. This is the definition of diversity. It can be asked in 2 marks question. For example, what is diversity? Explain with example. So you will write, please underline, diversity is a range of many people or things very different from one another. When people are different from one another in terms of age, physical abilities, in terms of gender, language, culture, tradition, religion, festivals, dress style, eating habits. So this is known as diversity. Differences help us to learn from one another and similarities help to share. When we are similar, then it helps us to share the same things, and if we are different, similarities and dissimilarities both are important parts. So differences help us to learn from one another. We learn about others' culture, we learn about others' food habits, we enjoy their food, we share our food, then they can also enjoy your food. So this is what we are helping one another to learn something new. India is an example of diverse cultures and traditions. We all know many types of people live in India, in different parts of India. There are so many states, then union territories are there, and people belong to different regions. They speak different languages, have different cultures, traditions. Their dressing style is different, their eating habit is different. As I have told you, in South they prefer dosa, in North we prefer chapati. So there are various differences in the living styles. Even though India shows diversity, we Indians are united. Now what is important? Despite these differences, we all are united. Both similarities and differences bring an interesting variety into our lives. I have already told you, if everything could have been similar, if we could have been similar, same food, same clothes, same physical features, then it would have been not beautiful. The world have been boring, dull. So it brings variety in the world, uniqueness in the world. It becomes beautiful. Diversity is nature's way of grooming us to adjust, learn and coexist. Please underline, this is very important line. So it helps us to adjust. It teaches us to adjust with our fellow beings. We learn from them so many things, and it also teaches us to coexist, to adapt to different circumstances, to help each other, to share, to love the other fellow beings, and for caring also. So all these things are important for unity in diversity. Then after talking the meaning of diversity, we should know the reasons what led to this diversity then. Let us study about these reasons. The reason behind the diverse nature of a country is its geography. I have already told you, geography, history, civics, they are all interdependent. So this diversity is based on the geographical boundaries that we have. India has mountains, rivers, thick forests and oceans. We all know in olden times the means of transport or communication were almost absent. We all know there was no means of transport. It was only bullock or by the travel. We used to go from one place to another place, and it took lot of time. Traveling from one place to another was never easy. People took days or months to travel on horseback or camels, and sometimes on foot even. As a result, the people settled in a region and stayed on there for a longer period of time. So what happened? When they used to travel on foot or on horse, then it took lot of time, and then they had to settle in one region for a longer time, because it took many days to reach one place. So they developed their language, culture and traditions by staying at that region, at that place. They developed their culture, their food habits, their language, their tradition, their living style. This is how every region was rich in its art, literature and culture. They had their own art, they had their own literature, their languages, their books, their scripts. So this way we also develop ours. This is how every region was rich in its art, literature and culture. Food habits were developed on the basis of food grown and spices used. Now, whatever region they used to live in, they had their own climate, own soil structure type. So whatever crops were grown in that region, so that only became the basis of the cultivation. So we learned how which crop should be grown in which region, in which soil, what type of climate was required for there, and that particular crop belonged to that region. For example, wheat, it is grown basically in Punjab area, and rice, if we talk about, it is grown basically in the areas where there is very heavy rainfall. So this way the regions are fixed for the cultivation of crops. Cotton, if we talk about, it is grown in black soil, we all know. For example, people living on the coast were either fishermen or traders, as the sea offered fish and business through waterways. So we all know that the people, those who settled around the sea areas, around the rivers, they were either a fisherman, because fishes are available in the rivers, in the seas. So the trade was also possible through boats, through ships. So the coastal areas were very important for the trade of the fish, and it also supplied them with the food. They had food as a fish in the routine. So fish became their staple diet, along with rice, tapioca, coconuts and bananas. So these were the common items that are found near the coastal regions. Please underline, fish was their staple diet, just as we have chapati as our main diet in the north. So the people living in the coastal regions, what is their staple diet? It is fish along with rice. Then because there is plenty of water and rice needs plenty of water to grow, we all know paddy. So it was the main crop over there. Then tapioca, coconuts and bananas. It all comes from the side of coastal areas, the eastern Ghats, the western Ghats. So tapioca is what? It is sabudana that we use basically in the fast. This gave rise to diverse culture of people of different stages or regions. The history of a place is the story of such generations that settle down in different places and enrich the culture and traditions. So please underline, the history of a place is the story of such generations. So we study about the place that tell us about the culture and tradition of that place. Similarly, the climate of a place also gives rise to diversity. Now the climate also, I have told you, it also results in diversity. Climate influences clothing, food, dances, music and other aspects of human cultural life. So climate is also very important. It also influences what type of clothes we wear in winters. For example, the people living in the hills where there is always cold weather, so they always wear woolen clothes, whereas in India, if we see, we live in northern plains, then we have 4 seasons. So according to the seasons, we wear clothes. So this way, our dances are also influenced by the climate. We depict the basic form of dance based on climate. Then especially when we talk about the harvesting of the crops in Punjab, it is called Baisakhi. In Assam, I have given you the example, there is Onam, Bihu celebrated. The same festival is celebrated by different names. So this way there is variety in climate, so it also leads to diversity. Then coming after the reasons, we should know what are the results of these differences. It's not good that the differences were there, but then they lead to some of the social evils. What type of social evils? Let us see. It resulted into economic differences and it resulted into social differences. First we will talk about the economic differences. So what are economic differences now? Please underline. Economic differences between people mean the differences in the amount of money or wealth they have. So it is the amount of money that the people have. Some are rich, they have more money, more luxuries. Then some are poor, they don't even have the basic necessities of life. So these led to the economic differences. People are rich if they have lots of money. People are poor if they have little money, which is not enough to give them food and a decent living. So this is the basic necessity of life. They don't even have food, clothing and shelter. The 3 basic needs of life. The differences in the amount of money are visible in differences in clothes, and it is clearly visible through the type of clothes we wear, the way we live. For example, the rich people will wear obviously costly clothes and it will be very, very appealing. Then they will be having luxuries in their homes. The ACs will be there, LEDs will be there, mobile phones they might be using, smartphones. So all these are variations in the economic differences. And even food habits. Poor people, if we talk about what do they eat, they eat simply the pulses, the cereals, whereas the rich people, they eat costly vegetables. It can be cheese, whereas it is very difficult for the poor people to eat cheese daily. So these are what? Economic differences. Economic differences lead to inequality, making some people rich and many others poor. So it leads to inequality. Distance between the rich and the poor is there. Then comes about social differences. Social differences are what? It is based on caste system and gender biasness. We all know that since previous times there have been caste system in India that is being prevailing. So there are various castes, and the people of scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, they were known as Dalits. During Gandhiji's time, he called them Dalits. They were not allowed to enter temples to take water from the same tap. They didn't have the right to education, to work with the higher class. So these were the caste system that gave the differences in the society. Then there is gender biasness. If we see in our family, in our houses, those families especially that are uneducated, there is gender biasness, means there is a difference between a girl and a boy. There is clear demarcation of the work that is to be done by a girl and a boy. In some families, if we see, the girls are not even allowed to have education. They don't have right to go to schools. They say that the girls are meant to do household work, whereas boys are going to schools, they are getting better education, they are doing the jobs also, whereas girls are just staying in the families and helping their mothers at home. So this is what gender biasness is. Caste system and gender bias are the two major social differences. They create inequality in the society. This also leads to inequality now. Caste system in India became an evil, and many reformers like Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Gandhiji even, so they all fought for these social evils. We will be studying it in the coming chapters or in the next class. So when the society was divided into castes during ancient times, it became an evil. There were varnas. For example, a person born into a cleaner's family could not rise to the position of a teacher. Supposingly, if you are born into a low class category family, then you cannot be a priest, you cannot be a teacher, you have to be the cleaner itself. The son will just do the same job as was done by the father. After independence, the government made laws to show that all human beings are born equal and they should enjoy equal opportunities. It was only after independence, after 1947, that government started thinking over it, after the social reformers took steps so that there should be no inequality, no disparity between boys and girls, no disparity amongst the people. So the government started some laws for this. But even today in many villages and towns, the evil of caste system is followed. But still in India, if we talk about villages, the caste system is still prevailing. There is another evil in Indian society, that is discrimination against the girl child. A girl child is treated like a burden. Whenever there is a birth of a girl in some of the village families, it is treated as a burden. Even today in villages and also in some towns, the birth of a girl child is not welcome. Then we see female fetus, women's, they don't get the right to give a birth to a girl. Then the girl child, if it is born, the celebrations are not there as the celebrations are there at the time of the birth of a boy in the family, especially in the villages. So all these things are still prevailing in some of the villages. This is called gender bias. Now, the government has made laws to protect the girl child and stop gender discrimination, whereas our government has tried to improve the condition by making various laws. Now, so I hope the social differences are clear to you all now, and the government has made various laws. Now the females are not allowed to test before the birth of a child. There is no ultrasound that is to be done by the hospitals. You can't go for ultrasound, you can't check the sex of the child before the birth. So these are some of the laws that the government is trying to involve. So then we have two multiple choice questions. Let us quickly do that. Diversity is nature's way of grooming us to adjust, learn and co-educate, cooperate or coexist. We have already done it and I have asked you to underline it is coexist. It helps us to exist with other human beings. Second sentence, the geography of a country is an important factor behind a unity, behind a tradition. So the second answer is diversity. The geography of a country is an important factor behind a diversity. So geography is also important to determine a diversity. So next we have unity in diversity, that despite of the differences we are all united. So let us study rise in mixed influences. So what are the results of this unity in diversity? First we'll talk about the mixed influences. Unity among people living in different regions or states came along slowly. To begin with, natural disasters like droughts, wars forced people to leave their homes and settle down in new places. So what are the results of this diversity? Unity in diversity is droughts, the natural calamities like floods, earthquakes. So they force the people to leave their homes and live in a new place. A new place gave them a new lifestyle and challenges, but they adjusted well by learning and teaching. This gave rise to a mixed bag of new culture. So they evolved others' culture, they learned from their culture, their tradition, their languages, their food habits, style, everything. And we also adopted theirs. Influence of foreigners. So I have already told you, in India there were many foreign travelers who came on visiting and invading India. We have talked about Lin Zhang, a Chinese traveler, then there was Vasco da Gama, then there were many other travelers. So they also had an impact on our lives. History is the story of the past. Indian history tells us about foreign influences that added to our diversity. India was visited by foreign students like Yun Sang and many others. These foreigners brought their own culture and tradition with them. Obviously, if any foreign person will be coming to India, he will be speaking his own language, he will be talking about the food habits, his culture, his tradition, his language. So we will be influenced by those. They influenced our culture and we influenced theirs, and he will be learning our culture, our language, our food habits, our living style, our dressing style. When he will be living in India for some period, their religions, languages and dresses were introduced in our land. So we also adopted their tradition, their language, their religions, dresses. Urdu language was born from the blend of Hindi and Persian language. So we have an example of Urdu language. Please underline, it was a blend of Hindi and Persian language. So Urdu language, it was a combination of two languages, that is Persian and Hindi. Food and architecture showed same influence. Mughlai food and the architectural wonders like the Taj Mahal are proofs of Persian influences. So we all know about Taj Mahal in Agra. So it had a proof of Persian influence. When the Persian people came to live in India, they influenced the architecture also, and Taj Mahal is example of one such unity in diversity. So it has lot many influences on it. Even the architecture and the food items, they are all influenced by the foreign influences. Then we talk about the freedom struggle. India's freedom struggle is the best example of unity in diversity. So which is the best example of unity in diversity? If we talk about, I have already discussed Republic Day, our national symbols, anthems, then national flag, then Independence Day. All these are symbols, or these are the things that are examples of unity in diversity. In fact, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was the one who gave the slogan unity in diversity, which describes India most beautifully. So please underline who gave the slogan unity in diversity. First of all, it was Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Our national flag, national anthem, national bird and national flower are all symbols of this unity. The British thought that because Indians were from diverse backgrounds, they could be divided easily. So it was the policy of Britishers to divide and rule. Divide and rule policy of Britishers. You will be studying in history. So they thought that since Indians are from various backgrounds, so we can break them, we can disunite them, and then we can throw them away from India. But then the Indians proved this wrong. Indians showed that diversity was not a weakness but a source of their strength. Despite different cultural, religious and regional backgrounds, Indian men and women came together in large numbers to fight for freedom. We all know that when there was a freedom struggle, there were people from various castes, various religions, various regions. There were Hindus, Muslims, Christians. So despite these differences, all of them, even the women, children came together forward to fight for a freedom struggle, and they proved the Britishers wrong. They marched and struggled together against the British rule, and this is the result of our independence in 1947. That unity is the best example of freedom struggle. So next we have globalization. The 20th century has shown a great deal of progress in communication, technology and transport. So we all know that we are living in 21st century and now we have lot many technologies. Daily a new technology is being developed. We are just heading forward and forward. Then there are good means of transport. Every day we are using aircrafts, airplanes are being used to travel as compared to the primitive age. If we talk about, we had only bullock carts or horse, or we walked on foot. So there are many developments over a passage of time. Then communication also, it is very easy to communicate now. We have emails, then we have telegrams, fax machines are there, which was not provided earlier. So lot many development has taken place. This has made it possible for us to overcome geographical boundaries and change our lifestyle, and the life has become very easy. We can easily move from one place to another. Our ideas are communicated fast today. A global network has been formed that links economies, societies and cultures. Information and ideas are being spread across the world as a result of globalization. So this has been possible as a result of globalization. So communication, transport, then moving from one place to another, trade, they all have been possible through the technologies that are coming up daily in our lives, and the life has become very easy and comfortable as compared to the earlier one. So this was something about diversity, its results we have studied, its reasons, from where did it come. Then we have studied the economic differences today, we have studied the social differences, and we have talked about unity in diversity. The best example is a freedom struggle. Then we talked about globalization. Then one more example they have given you about the life of the people of Kerala and Ladakh, which is also an important example of diversity. So this we will be dealing in next video. Till today I want you to learn and just go through the chapter, whatever we have discussed, that is the meaning of diversity, the reasons, the results and the best example, that is freedom struggle. So just go through it. Next, whatever is left out along with the book work will continue in our next video. So that's all for today. Stay safe, stay tuned.